Kazakhstan has warm and close relationships with this country. At the same time, there are no common borders between the two states. However, there is a visa-free regime, thanks to which residents can freely not only travel and visit each other, but also work. A great merit in this belongs to the presidents, who are both friends and have rallied the nations. This is the program Visa-Free, and that's right, we are in Belarus. How did the history of relations between the two countries begin? Moreover, what are the priorities in the development of diplomatic relations today? How many agricultural machinery mechanical engineers produce annually? In addition, why do Kazakh farmers like Belarusian combines? What does an agricultural plan look like in the opinion of President Lukashenko? Moreover, what else, besides export to Kazakhstan, is interesting for agricultural producers? Moreover, where can you find Kazakh goods in Belarus? Belarus is located in Eastern Europe and borders with 5 countries: Lithuania, Latvia, and Poland, as well as Russia and Ukraine. The distance between Astana and Minsk is more than 3.5 thousand kilometers, which can be overcome by car in 48 hours and in just 3.5 hours by plane. Daily flights operate, and by the way, they're popular, especially with transit passengers. On September 16, 1992, Kazakhstan and Belarus signed a protocol on the establishment of diplomatic relations. We can say that from this document, a new stage of cooperation between our countries began. Nevertheless, after 40 months, the diplomats prepared another fundamental document. This is an agreement on friendship and cooperation between Kazakhstan and Belarus. The presidents Nursultan Nazarbayev and Alexander Lukashenko signed this document on January 17, 1996, here in Minsk. The document consists of 21 articles and written in 3 languages: Kazakh, Belarusian, and Russian. In duplicate, each of which is stored in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, here in Minsk and in Astana. Today, between our countries, there are more than 70 concords and agreements in various fields. Relationships develop in an atmosphere of mutual understanding and trust. The positions of the two states coincide in most of the problems of regional and international politics. By the way, in the concept of Kazakhstan's foreign policy adopted in 2014, in the chapter Country and Regional Priorities, Belarus is designed as a state with which traditional and mutually beneficial cooperation will continue. Today, Yurmuhamed Yirtizbayev, who was appointed ambassador to this country in 2017, heads the Embassy of Kazakhstan in Belarus, located in Minsk, near the presidential residence. Yermuhamed Kabidinovich, thank you for taking the time to answer the questions. For 26 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations, how would you characterize the relations between our countries? I believe that in this quarter of a century, or even more, our achievement in bilateral relations is that Kazakhstan and Belarus are the members of the Eurasian Union, Customs Union, and the CSTO, other structures of the CIS. That is, we are very large trade and economic partners, military and political allies. Our relationship is wonderful. Therefore, I, as an ambassador, extraordinary and plenipotentiary, can state the fact that there are no controversial issues and tensions between Kazakhstan and Belarus. It's not because we do not have a common border, because the idea of our president expressed on March 1st, 1994 at Moscow University about the need to create a Eurasian Union. This idea found a very big response in the Belarusian people. The prestige of our president here is very highly significant, as well as the prestige of the Belarusian president. Therefore, I can tell you that this is the major achievement in our bilateral relations.
Авторитет нашего президента здесь очень высок и значим, так же, как и авторитет, конечно, и белорусского президента. Поэтому я вам могу сказать, это главное достижение в наших двусторонних отношениях.
Between Kazakhstan and Belarus, thanks to the presidents above all, there is a high trust relationship. How business people of the two countries utilize such relationship? I don't mean large corporates, but small and medium companies.
Наши, бизнесмены очень интересуются белорусскими IT-технологиями. Они сделали очень большой прорыв.
Our business people are very interested in Belarusian IT technologies. They have made a very big breakthrough. I once asked one Belarusian how you managed to create a Viber, and you know what his answer was? We have no oil. It was a very smart response. No oil. They don't have the oil we have, and it relaxes us very much. And despite the fact that our president has repeated that we must live and learn to work as if we have no oil, if we talk about business, yes, here we have many business people in Kazakhstan. Here in Belarus, their number is much fewer because state dominates here. Well, about 90% of the economy here is the state participation. Kazakhstan has gone on before. From the point of liberalization of economy, this is like apples and oranges, Kazakhstan and Belarus. Therefore, it's very difficult for me to imagine that Belarusians invest in the Kazakh economy. Why? Because they don't have such a sufficiently large and branched class of entrepreneurs as in Kazakhstan. What are your plans for the further development of relations? Are there directions that you would put the most focus on? If we talk about plans, first I need to complete the task set by the presidents of both Kazakhstan and Belarus, achieve $1 billion in turnover. It's very difficult to do, but we're constantly working in this direction. Look, from January to May, there were about $300 million, I think, for this quarter approximately. I think usually by November it reaches $600 and $700 million. If it happens, it will be just amazing. The economy of Belarus is kept on 3 pillars: mechanical engineering, agriculture, and industriousness of the people. All this allowed Belarus to consolidate the status of the agrarian country, especially in the CIS. The crew of the Viza-free program visited the main plants and enterprises of the country, whose products are exported to Kazakhstan in order to see the production with our own eyes. One of the most important premieres of the year is the newest model with a carrying capacity of 290 tons. In addition to smart electronics in the driver's cab and the electric traction drive, such as Belaz has many advantages. For example, a suspension with hydraulic shock absorbers for a smooth ride. When the smart electronics is behind the wheel, pilotless vehicles are now the trend of the Belarusian machine builders. The last loader is controlled remotely. This is possible thanks to satellite navigation system. It's very cold somewhere, it's hot, somewhere is desert, and in many regions there are simply not enough drivers who can work on these dump tracks. These difficulties are encountered not only in distant lands but also in Siberia. Belaz specialists found the following way. In order to overcome these difficulties, it's possible to create a dump truck without a driver. Moreover, these are just some of the premieres. In general, since the beginning of the year, the Belaz holding has already exported about 800 tons machines to 27 countries of the world. One of the strategic directions, of course, is Kazakhstan with its developed mining industry. In fact, every 10th Belaz car is sold to Kazakhstan. Dump trucks and special equipment are indispensable for mining, for example, coal, aluminium, copper, and gold. In total, 80 Kazakh enterprises use Belarusian giant machines. New businesses and consumers are emerging in Kazakhstan. For example, Shubarkol Premium or for Kostanay Minerals. We recently loaded cars. Just recently, about the year before last, we put a new 220-ton model on the Kazakhstan market. The Belarusian automobile plant itself is constantly in the process of modernization and, of course, searching for new business partners. After all, as the popular Kazakh wisdom says, the more friends you have, the road is wider. More than 60% of Belarusian engineering products are sold abroad. Moreover, a significant share of exports accounted for Russia and Kazakhstan. One form of export is the creation of joint ventures, which reduces the cost of the final product for consumers. Therefore, thanks to the cooperation of machine-building companies of the two countries, Kazakh farmers have the opportunity to acquire the necessary equipment at an affordable price. These are, for example, Yesil combine harvesters developed in Belarus but produced in Kazakhstan in Kostanay. So we arrived in Gomel at the Gomselmash plant. One of the largest manufacturers of agricultural machinery in Belarus is among the leaders in the world market of combines and other complex agricultural machinery. And Kazakh people are familiar with them. However, do manufacturers know about the needs of our farmers? How many joint ventures and projects does Gomselmash currently have in Kazakhstan? Since 2008, we have been present in Kazakhstan in the form of our joint production, it based on the Kostanay engine plant. I must say that during this period, we have already achieved more than 2,800 harvester combines under the brand Yesil. What is the share of Kazakhstan in the export? The Kazakhstan occupies 15% of the Gomselmash export. Well, I can provide you the information of the 8 months of this year. For the same period last year was only 9%. That is, we're going to increase and continue to concentrate. We cover virgin land part, fully East Kazakhstan region. However, thanks to our partner, we have a service center in every region presented. Opening the joint ventures, this form of cooperation, does it also reduce the cost of the final product? Yes, it actually makes cheaper because the parts used in production of the combine are the production of the Republic of Kazakhstan. In addition, logistics, because some of the parts are made there or they're delivered from somewhere closer. Due to this, the price reduction is present. Enterprises of the company simultaneously produce over 20 product items. They are constantly being upgraded, new modifications are being created, and at the same time, new items of a high engineering level are being produced, including the request of Kazakh farmers. In our opinion, for Kazakh market, two combines are suitable for working on such plants. One is 3219 with a hybrid threshing scheme. It has great performance because the threshing in the rotors goes better than on the separators. The second combine, which we believe will also be suitable for Kazakh farmers, is purely rotary combine. Threshing and separating device of the rotary type. Recently, the most relevant to a person, the comfort of a person, the comfort of an employee. Therefore, digital technologies, mapping systems, driving systems, microclimate are used. Because the more convenient it is for an employee, a machine operator, the more he can work and earn. Belarusian agriculture accounts for more than 7% of the country's GDP. The industry employs almost 10% of the population. Almost every 10th resident works in the field of agriculture. The collective farms and state farms established in Soviet times still work to this day, receiving billions in subsidies from the state. Nowadays, there is no comparison what we had 40 years ago. Once manual labor prevailed, then small mechanization came. Today, new technologies come to the fields and farms. These are energy-saturated, energy-intensive, wide-gripping machinery, which certainly yields certain fruits, and in particular, in our region, if about 6,000 people worked in agriculture 5 years ago, today there are 3,000. 2 times less, although they began to produce twice as much. The technology of milk production either in Kazakhstan or in Russia or in Belarus is the same, isn't it? At dairy plants, at meat processing plants, and so on.
Но для того, чтобы производить брендовую продукцию, да,
However, in
надо,
order
чтобы
to
были
produce branded
определенные
products,
условия
it's necessary to keep
для её
certain conditions for its production.
Вот. Это, значит, люди,
These are people, equipment,
первое,
and genetics of
техника,
livestock.
генетика скота. Вот. И особенно потом конечный продукт.
And
это
especially the final
упаковка,
product, its recycling, packaging,
представление
and
её
presentation to the buyer.
Я так полагаю, что мы на сегодняшний день постсоветское пространство мы не
I think that today we're not
конкуренты.
competitors in the
Вот, а мы
post-Soviet
друг
space,
другу
but we should
должны
help
помогать.
each other.
Поэтому сегодня в мировом сообществе
In
очень
today's
много
world,
народу,
there are many
которые
people
голодают.
starving. Therefore, the
Поэтому
more
чем
we
мы
produce,
больше
the cheaper it costs.
произведем,
By increasing sales, we
дешевле
gain more
произведем,
profit.
тем мы больше продадим, будем иметь больше денег.
Agricultural Production Cooperative this year celebrated 67 years. Today, the company specializes in the production of pork, cattle, and poultry meat, as well as milk. All agricultural products sold through supermarkets and grocery stores, as well as through the local markets, the most important of which is Komarovsky, located in the center of Minsk. However, this is not why the market has attracted the attention of the visa-free program. The fact is a small outlet just recently appeared here. It was opened by our compatriot, Astana resident Evgeny Nikishanov.
Здравствуйте, Евгений.
Hello, Evgeny. How is your trade? Well, it's quietly getting better.
Потихоньку налаживается.
Сколько времени?
How long have you been here? I have been here since March to this market.
На этом рынке.
Is it hard to get a place here because it is the main capital market?
Место получить, в принципе, несложно.
Well, it's not difficult to get the place. You can participate in the auction and get the right to rent this place.
На вот это место.
Сколько стоит?
How much is the rent?
Здесь аренда стоит порядка 600 рублей в месяц. Это где-то
Rent costs about 600 rubles a month, which means around $300 we pay, and additionally, for participation in the auction and winning the place, we paid another 400 rubles or $200 in terms of this. I guess it's a bit expensive.
Как вы
это,
справляетесь?
я думаю, что многовато.
Как вообще идея пришла?
How you got the idea to open a point?
Ну, изначально, не хватает того, что
Initially, it's not enough of that you become accustomed to, and again, there is a lack of a fine product. If we talk about flour, then the price of similar flour is higher, as well as pasta is either Russian or Belarusian. But again, the price issue. Therefore, after careful thinking, I came up with the decision to open up here.
Поэтому, подумав, решил, что надо что-то свое.
Как вы осуществляете доставку?
How do you deliver the goods? By transport companies, I transfer the money to their account. I have contracts with companies, I transfer money to them, and they make shipment for me. Then we receive the goods here. The delivery time is about 5 days. Well, about 5 to 8 days. 8 is the maximum. Most of the time, it takes 5 days.
В основном 5 дней.
Pavilion of Evgeny Nikishanov at the Komarovsky market is the only outlet with Kazakh goods throughout Belarus. And in just 10 minutes of filming, 5 shoppers approach the counter.
Очень нравится продукция, домашняя, вкусная и очень приветливый продавец.
Если бы у меня была возможность это все расширить, то я бы, конечно, бы...
If I had the opportunity to expand it all, then I would, of course. Really, it's a small pavilion, it doesn't fit everything. This is a small part of what needs to be delivered and sold. But we need to start initially from the little, and I guess step by step, everything will be just fine.
Все наладится. Все очень-очень довольны. Всем, абсолютно всем нравится мука казахстанская.
Everybody's very satisfied. Absolutely everyone likes Kazakh flour. Absolutely everyone. Everyone loves pasta. They say that waffles resemble youth and Soviet Union childhood. It's all very tasty, and who tasted our tea will always be only our client. I have many customers who used to buy Italian pasta. Now they have tried Kazakh products, and they buy only here. Our journey through Belarus continues. Watch next episode of the Visa-Free program. How many Kazakh people live in Belarus and why they're not going to return to their homeland? What was the fate of Murzatai Breikbaev, a veteran of the World War II and an honorary soldier of the Belarusian army? How does Belarus, with the help of former military objects of the Second World War, attract tourists from all over the world?